Well, it's time for your March bourbon market update. Let's jump right into it. Welcome back to That Bourbon Dude. My name is Charles. Today we're getting into our March bourbon market update. We've got a few things to cover and got some good stuff. Some stuff that you guys probably may know, but I'm going to try to dive into a little bit more detail, help you guys out a little bit. And while we're doing that, I'm going to sip on a little of this Smoke Eye Hill that someone sent me, specifically good buddy Stuart. If you're watching, buddy, thank you so much. I got into this just a little bit of sip yesterday, but today I'm really going to dive into it. If you guys have had this, let me know. This is the 134.2 proof. So if someone knows which batch this is, please drop it in the comment section. Blue corn just hits different. All right, folks, let me tell you real quick what we're going to jump into. I'm going to cover a little bit of Green River news. Is the bourbon market, is the boom, is it over? Could be. We're also going to be talking about, are the tariffs really as bad as the news make them out to be? We'll see. And then some more news coming out of Brown-Forman that you guys may or may not have known about. All the details were not made clear to me when I did my initial update about Brown-Forman. And now that we've had a little bit of time to pass and they've put out a few more press releases, we have some more details. So let's jump right into it. But before, make sure you're a subscriber. You do not want to miss videos like this. The reaction series is here to stay. Overwhelming support for that. So I'll be doing several reaction videos. I've got a couple already lined up that you guys are wanting me to do. If you have a video you would like for me to react to, please drop it in the comments or send me an email at charles@thatbourbondude.com. All right, folks, let's talk about Green River. Green River's first up on the chopping block because they've had a little bit of layoffs, and I need to put it in perspective because I think when you hear the words 30%, you think that's massive. That's hundreds and hundreds of people. That's not the case. 30% of the workforce there at Green River is about 27 people. Now, I'm not trying to say 27 people shouldn't have lost their jobs. I'm just saying that the news made it out to be like they just laid off hundreds and hundreds of people. That's not the case. I was up there recently and spoke with a couple of the employees, and they said that the people that were laid off were not directly Green River employees. They were safe. It was just like contracted people. I don't know exactly how accurate that is, but that's just what they were telling me. The official layoff date is going to be April 1st. That's very unfortunate because that's April Fool's. I hope that's just not a sick joke. I will link in the description area like an official press statement that they put out, but you guys probably already know most of the information on that because it's not crazy to look at. Let's talk about the bourbon boom. Is it over? Because I have been talking about the market shifting for quite some time, way before I ever started this channel. Matter of fact, I was talking about it when I first noticed it about three and a half years ago. A few things started trending that kind of just triggered my interest, and I wanted to kind of investigate. And the more I dove into it, the more I realized that we are not going to last very much longer in this crazy run to the moon that the bourbon market has been on. And I started doing a lot more research and found out exactly kind of when the tipping point was going to happen. And I called it. I mean, if you guys have been watching the channel, I nailed it right on the head when it was going to happen. And then now that the secondary market is starting to collapse as well, emotions are high. You know, it's no more rainbows and butterflies over there in the secondary market. People are I don't know, maybe they're hurting for the money now because they maybe invested way too much in certain bottles and now they're trying to get what they can out of them. And I'm seeing some crazy posts about, if you don't like the price, move along. No shitting on threads. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think people are tired of the bullshit prices and they're finally getting the balls to say something about it. So, cheers to those who are standing up for the right thing. I really appreciate you guys. So, now here's a few things that I think that is kind of contributing to all of this. The bourbon lovers need a break. We are tired of it. I mean, tired of it. How many times do you go look for a bottle that you cannot find? Even if it's not like a crazy allocated product, like an entry level, like Eagle Rare, not a store pick, just an Eagle Rare. Shouldn't be that hard to find. They're not a crazy expensive bottle. Even on secondary, they're fairly inexpensive for what they are, but you still can't find them. And I think that is one of the contributing factors is we're just sick of the hunt. Jesus Christ, do we ever just get a break? No, because it's just constantly boom, 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 always coming at you, right? So I think people are taking a step back. They're evaluating what's important, what bottles are really important to them. Also, the fact that less people are drinking now than previous years, like the Gen Zs are like kind of being more health conscious. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're drinking just different stuff. They're just not drinking the hard stuff anymore. So that's also a contributing factor. Now, one of the other things that I think kind of made sense to me when I was talking it out loud prior to the show here, when I was working on the script here. The bourbon market could have continued forward at a crazy trajectory. And if proper steps were taken to ensure this was possible 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think we could have seen a whole new level. Like, I know bourbon was on the next level now, but I think we could have taken it to a much, much higher level than it is now. But the reason I personally think that it did not do that is that the legacy distilleries and the legislators that are like writing the rules and laws for the spirits industry, they were riding a high. This money tree seemed like it was tall, and they were just plugging dollars out of the sky, and they thought it was going to continue, but everything falls at some point. There's not like a never-ending amount of money. Trends change, the fad changes. They weren't looking ahead when it comes to pricing, and if they were smart about it, they would have focused a little bit of effort on possibly lobbying for some laws to be changed to help them ensure that their longevity is crazy successful and not just marginally successful. I think we could have taken it to a much, much higher place if they would have put in some key people in the government to be able to push for new regulations or the deregulation, specifically eliminating the 3-tier system, because that's a big bag of ass. If they would have done that, maybe something would have been different. But they weren't worried about prices. They were just worried about the dollars coming in, saying, hey, big bag of money coming in. Let's not worry about it. But guess what? The money train has ended, ladies and gentlemen. We now are seeing them panicking. That's awesome. I love seeing them panic, especially when they start doing some crazy stuff. But they're scratching their heads trying to figure out what to do next. I want you guys to comment below. Who do you think is going to be the next direct-to-consumer distillery? So we have some of the small people, the craft people that are already doing that. We've got New Riff was probably one of the first bigger ones that jumped on the train. The guys over at Pursuit are doing it. And then Jim Beam with the Knob Creek line, you can do their barrel selection, and that is a direct-to-consumer. So they're cutting out the distributor. So the distributor is no longer going to have that chokehold on us, threatening the stores, hey, if you don't buy this and this and this, then we're not going to give you picks. Well, guess what? That could be over a lot sooner than anybody ever expected. So keep that in mind. All right. So let's talk a little bit about tariffs. I have had, I don't know how many messages, comments, emails. Hey, can you talk about tariffs? Can you talk about tariffs? Okay, I'm going to talk about tariffs specifically affecting Kentucky because Kentucky produces 95% of the world's bourbon. Okay, that's a $9 billion industry for Kentucky. That's a lot of money, right? And if you listen to the news, they're talking about how the bourbon industry is just getting destroyed, absolutely just mangling them. There's no way they're going to survive. So I want to put this into into perspective here, so you can kind of understand. So let me start off with this one before we get directly into that. Michter's has talked about how much it has cost them so far in these tariffs and canceled shipments. And you're probably thinking 50 million, 100 million. Wrong. $115,000. That's right. $115,000. Not really that much. Now, we're at the end of March here. You're talking 3 months in, that's only cost you $115,000. I mean, if you kind of add that up across the board for the rest of the year, that still isn't that much money. So how much is it for the entire Kentucky bourbon industry? Well, I'm going to link the article in the description so you can read it for yourself, but it affects us about $40 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to me, probably a lot of money to most of you as well. But considering the fact that the bourbon industry is a $9 billion industry here in Kentucky, what does that mean? That actually means it is 0.44%, less than 0.5%. So if you lose 0.5% of your revenue and you're starting to collapse, or you standing on a house of cards, or is the mainstream media lying to you? Well, I kind of think that the mainstream media is doing a little bit more fluffing up than they should about this situation. Now, I'm not going to speak to how tariffs affect everything else. That's not my forte. But looking into the bourbon market is something that I'm passionate about. But if you're only affected by 0.44% of the total revenue for the state of Kentucky in the bourbon industry, that's not much. That means we're still operating at 99.5%. That's crazy. We're still doing good. The bourbon market is still strong. They're still making money. They just would like to make more. And I get that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with making money. But I think we will all see this all pan out to be a positive. If you look at the trade deficit between all the countries and us, we're not doing so hot in like the trading market. So with that being said, let's dive into the next little bit of Brown-Forman information. I love talking about Brown-Forman, not only because they have a lot of stuff going on, it's that I love their products. They're so good. So good. Okay. I don't know if you are ready for this because I was shocked. Those of us who've been drinking for a while probably have a little bit of a soft spot for Southern Comfort. Just right there. You know, you remember those tailgate times drinking some Southern Comfort and Coke, a little SoCo. Yeah. Well, Brown-Forman has sold SoCo. They've sold it. That's true. And it was masked during the layoff and the closing of the cooperage. This deal was going on during this, so the media did not cover this specific detail very well, if at all. I had a very difficult time getting these figures. They also sold off another brand. I forget now what it was. It was just like a liqueur. It wasn't that important. But SoCo is a big, big brand. Okay, who bought them? That's what everybody's asking. Well, none other than your favorite old Sazerac. Yes, they finalized the sale of this in the early part of this year. I believe it was like the 19th of January. And that was all during the same time that all the other news was coming out about Brown-Forman. And you're probably curious on what the sale price was. Well, the two brands, the Southern Comfort and then the liqueur that they purchased, comes out to a whopping $542.4 million. This transaction was disclosed further in detail on their press release that they put out on their website. I'll see if I can find that and link it for you guys. Also, if you would like to take a look at their third quarter earnings, that was rough. I'm not going to dive into that yet because I got to look at it harder because I'm just not sure if I'm truly seeing what I'm seeing on there. Did not expect to see those. I am trying to find out because there's rumors circulating that even though that Sazerac has purchased SoCo, that there's a possibility that Brown-Forman is going to continue to service the brand. So they will be, Sazerac will purchase the juice from Brown-Forman. I can't confirm that yet. That's just rumors circulating. There's no shred of proof that that is actually happening. But there have been several people that has quoted that to me. And at this point, when there's been I think 3 people have mentioned it, makes me think that there's something to it. As soon as I can find out if that is true, I will let you guys know. But if that is the case, that will be probably one of the more interesting partnerships that we might see kind of develop over this crazy year of 2025 that we're already having. If that be the case, Sazerac buying the brand from Brown-Forman and then Brown-Forman still continuing to service that brand, that's huge. We don't see that happen a lot amongst the legacy people. You see it a lot on the smaller side, but never really on this scale. So it's kind of crazy. I'm going to finish it up with some predictions for this year. What do I think is going to happen? What are we going to see in the future? Do I think that we are on a cliff? Nah, we're not on the cliff. We are at what I'm considering the dawn of the new bourbon prime time, okay? This is going to be an amazing time for real bourbon lovers, not the people, the fanboys that jumped in during COVID because they had jack shit to do. No, these are for the people like me and you that's watching these videos. We're going to start seeing stuff pop up everywhere. Even in my Facebook group, if you're not a member, make sure that you're a member. We post stuff all the time in there. It's That Bourbon Dude private Facebook group. Shoot us a request. We'll get you in. There's always something. Matter of fact, just today, we posted about some Jack 10s, 12s, and 15s that were available around the Clarksville, Tennessee market at a store called Crocker's Wine and Spirits. Unbelievable prices. It was like $89 for the 10-year, $99 for the 12-year, and I believe it was $159 or $69 for the 14-year. I mean, holy crap. Those are some great prices. And then if you're in the group, obviously you'll have first access to that. I was able to get on that post within 2 minutes of them making it public. I was able to share it out to my people. So keep that in mind. We do put a lot of information on places that you can get bottles at really cheap prices, or, well, as cheap as we can get them, right? There's no real cheap prices anymore. All right, so let's talk about a little bit of predictions. Yes, we're going to see more stuff. Yes, we're going to see a lot of distilleries close down. We're going to see new brands emerge. We're going to see new labels from legacy distilleries. With the announcement that Heaven Hill is going to be putting out an Elijah Craig barrel proof rye, I expect the natural order of progression to be a Elijah Craig barrel proof toasted rye. That should be a next thing up. Do I think that Heaven Hill might be the next ones to jump on the direct to consumer? Yeah, I got a feeling. It's not grounded in anything yet, but it's trending that way. I've noticed when you visit into the gift shop, there's always a lot of their management staff now there in the mornings. They're paying attention to the people. A year and a half ago, maybe there was like one management person there. I was up there just the other day. There was a whole slew of them. They were all paying attention. They're looking, they're learning. I think they are truly starting to listen to what we've been saying for so long. Take care of us, we'll take care of you. All right, folks, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bourbon Dude out.